All right, you are live. What are we talking about today? Let's talk about Chris Dixon. It was pretty good to kind of like meditate or just read about a bunch of theses around crypto yesterday. It was really cool. It opens up your mind. It opens up your mind to more ambitious ideas, ideas that are being thought about a lot for a really, really long time, and how they're slowly iterating and how they come in phases. Like yesterday, we read the article from Jesse Walden about DAO 2.0, and it was very interesting because there was a vision for DAO. There was a massive vision for DAO. A lot of people wrote about it. A lot of people wrote really big technical articles on it, and then there was a period where DAOs actually boomed. I have a couple of friends over here who did pretty good during the DAO boom. Their startup did a bunch of good stuff, but then DAO boom ended, and there was a bust. There was a long winter period for DAOs, and now slowly with AI agents, a revolution, a new technology happening in a totally different industry, and how that is now helping the DAO, that is now leading to this DAO 2.0 revolution. So it's very interesting to read these kind of things and see how these long-term visions slowly iterate, slowly go through phases, ups and downs. Let's get back into it. I believe Chris Dixon has definitely written a lot of good things about it. Let's get into it. Seems like we're asking about Chris Dixon, but there are multiple people. Okay. All right, we're talking about Chris Dixon from A16Z, well-known figure from the tech world, particularly as a general partner of A16Z, where he leads their cryptocurrency and Web3 division. Born around 1971 or 72, he grew up in Ohio and holds a BA and MA in philosophy from Columbia University, plus an MBA from Harvard Business School, recognized for his early career moves like co-founding Site Advisor, sold to McAfee in 2006, and Hunch, sold to eBay in 2011, and for being a vocal advocate of blockchain Web3 technologies. I also got his book over here. I'm not sure if I got it signed because it was last ETH Denver. It was last ETH Denver when at I was at ETH Denver, and Chris Dixon was there. He was signing a bunch of his books. That's the time when this book came out, and it's kind of weird that I still have this book. It's been a year and I haven't read it cover to cover yet. Okay, that's bad on me. But anyways, there was a massive line of everybody trying to. I think he was just giving out books for free over there to every participant, and he was personally signing everything. But for me, I just won that book. I didn't know that would happen. So a day before, I just won this book from. I won this book, or there was another booth where they had a mini contest going on, and I got this book from there. That's pretty cool. I love the work on the font. I love the work they have done on the paper. The design is beautiful. Yeah, let's see if we can read. Yeah, the font. I don't know if it's visible, but the fonts are beautiful over here. Chris Dixon, general partner at the storied venture capital firm A16Z, which he joined in 2013. He has invested there in Oculus, acquired by Facebook, Coinbase, and other companies. He also placed early bets on Kickstarter, Pinterest, Stack Overflow, and Stripe, all of which have products in wide use today. Dixon founded and leads A16Z Crypto, a division of the firm that he has grown from 300 million in 2018 to over 7 billion of committed capital dedicated to investing in crypto and blockchain technologies. He was ranked number one on the Forbes Midas list of the world's best VC investors. He has a Bachelor of Arts and a Master's degree in philosophy from Columbia. Bachelor of Arts. Wait, so this is wrong? Columbia. Oh yeah, okay, Harvard Business School there is. Okay, I thought Grok messed it up. Dixon has a Bachelor of Arts and a Master's degree in philosophy from Columbia University and MBA from Harvard Business School, and has founded two startups acquired by McAfee and eBay. He grew up in Ohio and lives in California. Okay, pretty cool. All right, let's see. Yes, we're talking on this Chris Dixon. All right, let's zoom in. He also dipped into the All right, so first startup is called Site Advisor, anti-malware sold to McAfee 2006. Hunch recommendation engine snapped up by eBay in 2011. He also dipped into the startup game with Founder Collective and made early personal investments that paid off big, like backing Kickstarter, Foursquare, and Oculus VR before its $2 billion sale to Facebook in 2014. Like backing Kickstarter, Foursquare, and Oculus VR before its $2 billion sale to Facebook. When he joined as general partner in 2012, okay, it says 2013 over here, but anyways, be, been driving force behind the 7.6 billion crypto portfolio as of late 24. He's a hardcore believer in blockchain Web3, pushing the idea that these technologies can shift the internet from being dominated by big platforms to something more decentralized and user owned. His 2024 book, Read Write Own Building the Next Era of Internet, lays out this vision. Think of it as his manifesto on how blockchains could fix what he sees as a broken digital landscape. Fortune dubbed him the world's top crypto investor 22, though his crypto fund took a 40% hit in value earlier that year when the market tanked. Still, he's got skin in the game with bets on heavyweights like Coinbase, where he's been on board since 2018, and new players like Sky Mavis behind Axie Infinity. Dixon's not just about crypto, he shaped A16Z's broader strategy, helping it evolve from a traditional VC firm into something more hands on, almost like a startup itself. He's vocal about his ideas on X, where he posts as C. Dixon, 650k followers as of my last check. Nice. Blending philosophy, tech history, and bold takes on the future. Shows him hyping his book and riffing on everything from AI's creative limits to the economics of digital ownership. He's also got a rep for spotting trends early. Think his 2010 comeback of the comeback thesis on tech cycles, or his bets on mobile and VR before they blew up. On the flip side, Web3 obsession draw skeptics. Critics argue he's overselling a utopian fix for the internet's woes, and the crypto market's volatility hasn't always been kind to his funds. His track record, Oculus, Coinbase, Lyft, keeps him in conversation as a guy who's usually ahead of the curve. Hmm. Okay, let's check this out. Two paths to adoption: inside out versus outside in. New technologies follow one of the two paths: inside out or outside in. Inside out technologies start inside big tech. They are the more obvious of the two, coming out fully baked from inside established institutions and getting better at the rate at which corporate employees, staff, researchers, and others on the payroll improve them. They tend to need significant capital and formal training, which raises barriers to entry. Most people recognize the value of inside out technologies even before they exist. It's easy to imagine that internet connected, pocket sized supercomputers might be popular, as Apple proved with iPhone. It's also easy to imagine that people might want machines that can learn to act intelligently and do all sorts of tasks, as university and corporate research labs showed with AI. Incumbents pursue these technologies because they see obvious potential. Outside in technologies arrive, in contrast, on the fringes. Hobbyist, enthusiast, open source developers, and startup founders hatch them outside the mainstream. The work usually involves less capital and formal training, which helps level the playing field with insiders. A lower bar also causes insiders to take these technologies and their proponents less seriously. Outside in technologies are much harder to see coming, and they are routinely underestimated. Their builders work out of garages, basements, dorm rooms, and other unconventional spaces outside official hours. They tinker after work, during breaks, and on weekends. They are motivated by a distinct philosophy and culture that can look strange to the outside world. Other people don't get them. The outsiders launch products half baked without clear uses. Most onlookers dismiss the technologies as toy like, weird, unserious, expensive, or even dangerous. Software is an art form, as you will remember, just as you wouldn't expect all great novels or paintings to come from people at established institutions, so you shouldn't expect all great software to come from them either. Who are the outsiders? Picture a counterculture loving 20 something Steve Jobs attending the Homebrew Computer Club, a den of microcomputer obsessed geeks that hosted monthly meetups in California in the 70s. Picture Linus Torvalds as a student at the University of Helsinki in 91, coding up a personal project that would become his namesake Linux operating system. Or picture Larry Page and Sergey Brin dropping out of Stanford and moving into Menlo Park garage in '98 to turn their WebLink cataloging project Backrub into Google. The value of outside-in technologies is often unclear before their innovation and may remain so for many years afterward. The web started out half-baked when Tim Berners-Lee concocted it at a Swiss physics lab in 1989, but it grew exponentially as it attracted developers and entrepreneurs who saw its potential. As my technologist friend Sep Kamwar jokes, if you ask people at that time what they needed to make their life better, they likely wouldn't have set a decentralized network of information nodes that are linked using hypertext. And yet, in retrospect, that's exactly what they needed. Hobbies fuel future industries. Open source software started out as a niche anti copyright movement before going mainstream. Social media began as a pastime among idealistic blogging enthusiasts before the world embraced the idea. The t shirt and flip flop wearing hobbies spawn large industries may seem like an amusing eccentricity of the tech industry, but hobbies are important for a reason. Business people vote with their dollars. They are mostly trying to create near-term financial returns. Engineers vote with their time. They're mostly trying to invent interesting new things. Hobbies are what the smartest people spend time on when they aren't constrained by near-term financial goals. I like to say that what the smartest people do on the weekends is what everyone else will do during the week in 10 years. These two modes of tech development, inside out and outside in, are often mutually reinforcing, as you can see in the combination of trends that powered the growth of computing over the last decade. As mentioned earlier, mobile and inside out technology pioneered by Apple, Google, and others brought computers to billions of people. Social and outside in technology cobbled together by hackers like the Howard dropout Mark Zuckerberg drove usage and monetization. Cloud, another inside out technology spearheaded by Amazon, allowed back-end web services to scale. The two modes can unleash powerful forces when they line up like nuclei fusing. Blockchains are a classic outside in technology. Most incumbent technology companies are ignoring blockchain, and some of their employees even dismiss and ridicule them. Many people neglect blockchains because they don't even think of them as computers. Startup founders and independent groups of open source developers are driving the technology's development. In this way, industry outsiders are leading this new computing movement, just as they did for the early protocol networks like the web and open source software like Linux. Really good. Limited liability corporations, a regulatory success story. History shows that smart regulation can accelerate innovation. Until the mid 19th century, the dominant corporate structure was a partnership. In a partnership, all the shareholders are partners and bear full liability for the actions of the business. If the company has a financial loss or causes non financial harm, the liability pierces the corporate shield and falls on the shareholders. Imagine if shareholders of public companies like IBM and GE were personally liable beyond any money invested for mistakes the companies made. Very few people would buy stocks, making it much harder for companies to raise capital. Limited liability corporations did exist in the early 19th century, but were rare. Forming one required a special legislative act. As a result, almost all business ventures were close-knit partnerships among people who deeply trusted one another, like family members or close friends. This changed during the railway boom of the 1830s and the period of industrialization that followed. Railroads and other heavy industries required significant upfront capital, more than could be provided by small groups, even when the groups were very wealthy. New and broadened sources of capital were needed to fund a transformation of the world economy. As you might expect, the upheaval ignited controversy. Lawmakers faced pressure to make limited liability the new corporate standard. New and broadened sources of capital were needed to fund a transformation of the world economy. The upheaval ignited controversy. Lawmakers faced pressure to make limited liability the new corporate standard. Meanwhile, skeptics argued that expanding limited liability would encourage reckless behavior, effectively transferring risk from shareholders to customers and society at large. Eventually, the factions settled on a way forward. Industry and lawmakers crafted sensible compromises, arranged legal frameworks and made limited liability the new norm. This led to the creation of public capital markets for stocks and bonds and all the wealthy and wonders those innovations have generated since. Thus, technological innovation drove pragmatic changes to regulation. The history of economic participation is one of increasing inclusion thanks to a combination of tech and legal advances. Partnerships had small groups of owners that counted in the tens. The limited liability structure expanded ownership dramatically to the point that public companies today have millions of shareholders. Blockchain networks, through mechanisms such as airdrops, grants, and contributor rewards, expand the circle once more. Future networks could have billions of owners. Just as industrial era businesses had new organizational needs, so do network era businesses today. Corporate networks bolt and old legal structures, C Corp and LLCs, and the like onto new network structure. This mismatch is the root cause of many of the problems with corporate networks, including their inexorable switch over from attract to extract mode and the exclusion of so many contributors from the upside of their networks. The world needs new digitally native ways for people to coordinate, cooperate, collaborate, compete. Blockchains provide a sensible organizational structure for networks. Tokens are the natural asset class. Policymakers and industry leaders can work together to find the right guardrails for blockchain networks, just as their forerunners did for limited liability corporations. The rules should permit and encourage decentralization, not default to centralization as corporate entities do. There are many things that can be done to rein in casino culture while allowing computer culture to develop. Hopefully, smart regulators will encourage innovation and let founders do what they do best, build the future. The casino should not hold the computer down. Very interesting. Okay, let's go to Chris Dixon. Perfect. Oh, Grok was wrong. Grok said 650K as last I checked. It's 906. Wow. Programming philosophy, history, internet, startups, crypto. Author of Read Write Own. I think a cool thing is that on Farcaster, I think Chris Dixon follows you. That's good. Just a humble brag, but okay. Yeah, this was pretty good. I recently went on Rick Rubin podcast. We got to talk about. It's crazy. Rick Rubin, God, God, Rick Rubin. We covered Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin, great. I got his book over here. Rick Rubin talked to Chris Dixon about internet history, little tech versus big tech, internet economic models, composability in open source software, blockchain and tokens. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. Here's a useful way to categorize tokens, from network tokens to meme coins, plus a handy flowchart to help figure things out. Defining tokens. Does the token have inherent value? No. It's a meme coin. Yes. Is the token's value primarily derived from a company controlled system? Yes. Is the token's value highly speculative or reasonably stable? If it's reasonably stable, it becomes an arcade token. Highly speculative. Does the token grant a right, title, or interest in the issuer? Yes. Security token. No. Company-backed token. Tokens value not derived from company control system. So, is the token's value primarily derived from a network or an underlying asset? Network token. Asset. Is the token's value primarily derived from a unique good or instance of a good? No. Asset-backed token. Yes. Collectible token. Interesting. This is a great development. Kudos to Brian and team for fighting the good fight. One of the tragedies of the last administration's crypto policies that it ignored bad actors like FTX while going after good actors like Coinbase. Smart tech policy supports good actors and productive use cases while combating bad actors and harmful use cases. Today's news is a solid first step right? There was a lot of interesting stuff happening recently. And this is a new update. Yeah, I don't know why they went from a beautiful cover to a very bland cover. Read Write Own is now available in paperback in both US and UK. It's a playbook for shaping the internet to grant power, ownership, and economic benefits to users and creators, not just corporations. With refined infra and unprecedented political support, there's never been a better time to build in crypto. Let's make the most out of it. Let's make the most out of it. Okay. Read Write to Own right here. There was this NFT. We got this NFT as well. Sign up for special offers. Okay. And I believe there's a website, cdixon.com. cdixon.com. All right, we're here. Perfect. There's some interesting stuff over here. Why Web3 matters. Okay. Whoa, climbing the wrong hill. All right, let's go back. Let's go way back. 2009. I know a brilliant young kid who graduated from college a year ago and now works at a large investment bank. He has decided he hates Wall Street and wants to work at a tech startup. Good. He recently gave notice to his bosses, who responded by putting on a dog and pony show to convince him to stay. If he stays at the bank, the bosses tell him he will get a raise and greater responsibility. Joining the tech industry, he would be starting from scratch. He's now thinking that he will stay, despite his convincing declaration that he has no long-term ambitions in finance. Over the years, I've run into many prospective employees in similar situations. When I ask them a very obvious question, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? The answer is invariably working at or founding a tech startup. Yet most of them decide to remain on their present path and not join a startup. Then a few years later, they finally quit their job, but only after having spent years in an industry they didn't enjoy and that didn't really advance them toward their long-term ambitions. How can smart, ambitious people stay working in an area where they have no long-term ambitions? I think a good analogy for the mistake they are making can be found in computer science. A classic problem in computer science is hill climbing. Imagine you are dropped at a random spot on a hilly terrain where you can only see a few feet in each direction. Assume it's foggy or something. The goal is to get to the highest hill. Consider the simplest algorithm at any given moment. Take a step in the direction that takes you higher. The risk with this method is if you happen to start near the lower hill, you'll end up at the top of that lower hill, not the top of the tallest hill. A more sophisticated version of this algorithm adds some randomness into your walk. You start out with lots of randomness and reduce the amount of randomness over time. This gives you a better chance of meandering near the bigger hill before you start your focused, non-random climb. Another and generally better algorithm has you repeatedly drop yourself in random parts of the terrain, do simple hill climbing, and then after many such attempts, step back and decide which of the hills were highest. Going back to the job candidate, very interesting, very interesting. This is very interesting. It's beautifully written like a story or something. Consider the simplest algorithm. So this the simple one is that you can only anywhere you are dropped, like if you're dropped over here, you can only see a few feet higher. So obviously you think this plane is going higher, you will go up over here. The other one is adding randomness to your walk. A lot of randomness and reduce the amount of randomness over time. Okay. So the other one is kind of research. You're just spending a lot of time over here randomly, maybe at the same level, just so that you get a understanding of what hill, what path leads you to the highest hill. Also just see the highest hill, maybe drop yourself in the random parts of the terrain, do simple hill climbing, and then after many such attempts, step back and decide which of the hills were highest. Yeah, I'm not sure what this means. Add some randomness to your walk. Okay. Anyways, going back to the job candidate, he has the benefit of having a less foggy view of his terrain. He knows, or at least believes, he wants to end up at the top of a different hill than he is presently climbing. He can see that higher hill from where he stands, but the lure of the current hill is strong. There is a natural human tendency to make the next step an upward one. He ends up falling for a common trap highlighted by behavioral economists. People tend to systematically overvalue near term or over long term rewards. This effect seems to be even stronger in more ambitious people. Their ambition seems to make it hard for them to forego the nearby upward step. People early in their career should learn from computer science. Meander some in your walk, especially early on. Randomly drop yourself into new parts of the terrain, and when you find the highest hill, don't waste any more time on the current hill, no matter how much better the next step up might appear. That's very interesting. So, are you saying that the best thing to do is is do your own startup, build your own tech startup? That's very interesting. People early in their career should learn from computer science. Meander some in your walk, especially early on. Randomly drop yourself into new parts of the terrain, and when you find the highest hill, don't waste any more time on the current hill, no matter how much better the next step might appear. Pretty cool. Okay, if you aren't getting rejected on a daily basis, your goals aren't ambitious enough. My most useful career experience was about 8 years ago when I was trying to break into the world of VC backed startups. I applied to hundreds of jobs, low level VC roles, startup jobs, even to big tech companies. I got rejected from every single one. Big companies rejected me outright or gave me courtesy interview before rejecting me. VCs told me they wanted someone with VC experience. Startups at the time were laying people off. The economy was bad, particularly where I was looking, consumer internet. And I had a strange resume: computer programmer, small bootstrap, startups, degree in philosophy, and mathematical logic. The reason this period was so useful was that it helped me develop a really thick skin. I came to realize that employers weren't really rejecting me as a person or on my potential, they were rejecting a resume. As it became depersonalized, I became bolder in my tactics. I eventually landed a job at Bessemer, thanks to their willingness to take chances and look beyond resume, which led to getting my first VC backed startup funded, and things got better from there. One of the great things about looking for a job is that your payoff is almost always a max function. Hmm. One of the great things about looking for a job is that your payoff is almost always a max function, the best of all attempts, not an average. One of the great things about looking for a job is that your payoff is almost always a max function, the best of all attempts, not an average. This is also generally true for raising VC financing, doing BizDev partnerships, hiring programmers, finding good advisors, mentors, even blogging and marketing. I probably got rejected by someone once a day last week alone. In one case, a friend who tried to help called me to console me. He seemed surprised when I told him, "No worries, this is a daily occurrence. We'll just keep trying." Wait. I didn't understand. I probably got rejected by someone once a day last week alone. In one case, a friend who tried to help called me to console me. He seemed surprised when I told him, "No worries, this is a daily occurrence. We'll just keep trying." Mm. If you aren't getting rejected on a daily basis, your goals aren't ambitious enough. The next big thing will start out looking like a toy. Yeah, I think this one is the blog that got him popular, maybe. Or was it come for the tools, shape for the network? We. Oh, this one. What the smartest people do on the weekend is what everyone else will do during the week in 10 years. Wow, he wrote this in 2013. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy when you write something like this and it turns out it's very well documented. This is also the reason why it's very important to just write things, because when you write things down, people can see your hypotheses. And then when you eventually are right, people trust you a lot. Many breakthrough technologies were hatched by hobbyists in garages and dorm rooms. Prominent examples include the PC, the web, the blog, VC, PC, the web, blogs, and most open source software. The fact that flip flop wearing hobbies spawn large industries is commonly viewed as an amusing eccentricity of the technology industry. But there's a reason why hobbies are so important. Business people vote with their dollars. Oh, this he took he put this exact same thing in the chapter over here. Business people vote with their dollars and are mostly trying to create near-term financial returns. Engineers vote with their time and are mostly trying to invent interesting new things. Hobbies are what the smartest people spend their time on when they aren't constrained by near-term financial goals. Today, the tech hobbies with momentum include math-based currencies like Bitcoin, new software development tools like NoSQL databases. Oh wow, math-based currencies like Bitcoin. He wrote that in 2013. The Internet of Things, 3D printing, touch-free human-computer interfaces, and artisanal hardware like the kind you find on Kickstarter. It's a good bet these present-day hobbies will seed future industries. What the smartest people, touch-free human-computer interfaces, artisanal hardware. It's a good bet that these present day hobbies will seed future industries. What the smartest people do on the weekends is what everyone else will do during the week in 10 years. Why decentralization matter. The idea maze, this is a big one. The pop culture, has he just written hits or has Chris Dixon just compiled all the best ones over here? Wait, has he just written hits? Blog. Okay. He has just compiled the hits over here. That hey, these are the hits. Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. The pop culture view of startups is that they are all about coming up with a great product idea. After the eureka moment, the outcome is preordained. This neglects the year of toil that entrepreneurs endure, and also the fact that the vast majority of startups change over time, often dramatically. In response to this pop culture misconception, it has become popular in the startup community to say things like execution is everything and ideas don't matter. But the reality is that ideas do matter, just not in the narrow sense in which startup ideas are popularly defined. Good startup ideas are well developed multi year plans that contemplate many possible paths according to how the world changes. Balaji calls this the idea maze. A good founder is capable of anticipating which turns lead to treasure and which lead to certain death. A bad founder is just running to the entrance of, say, the movies, music, file sharing P2P maze or the photo sharing maze without any sense for the history of the industry, the players in the maze, the casualties of the past, and the technologies that are likely to move walls and change assumptions. Imagine, for example, that you were thinking of starting Netflix back when it was founded in 97. How would content providers, distribution channels, and competitors respond? How soon would technology develop to open a hidden door and let you distribute online instead of by mail? Or consider Dropbox in 2007. Dozens of cloud storage companies had been started before. What mistakes had they made? How would incumbents like Amazon and Google respond? How would new platforms like mobile affect you? When you're starting out, it's impossible to completely map out the idea maze, but there are some places you can look for help. History. If your idea has been tried before, and almost all good ideas have, you should figure out what the previous attempts did right and wrong. A lot of this knowledge exists only in the brains of practitioners, which is one of the many reasons why stealth mode is a bad idea. The benefits of learning about the maze generally far outweigh the risk of having your idea stolen. It's so interesting, so relevant because just like an hour ago, I was talking with one of the founders, and I'm literally talking about the same thing over here. The benefits of learning about the maze generally far outweigh the risk of having your idea stolen. And again, because I'm learning French, this is the exact same concept that comes up in ultra learning, which is this guy who spent 1 year where every 4 months he learned a new language. every 4 months or every 3 months, I'm not sure, but this was the biggest learning I had from him, which is like testing. You have to test yourself a lot, and testing is the only way to learn. When we are kids, we are taught that you're supposed to learn throughout the year and then give an exam at the end of the year. But that's bad because you actually learn things when you are being tested. So you have to just keep testing yourself a lot, and that's the best way to learn. The benefits of learning about the maze generally far outweigh the risk of having your idea stolen. Analogy. You can also build the maze by analogy to similar businesses. If you are building a peer economy company, it can be useful to look at what Airbnb did right. If you are building a marketplace, you should understand eBay's beginnings, etc. Theories. There are now decades of historical data on tech startups, and smart observers have sifted through to develop theories that generalize that data. Some of these theories come from academia, Clay Christensen, but increasingly they come from investors and entrepreneurs and blogs. Direct experience. A lot of good startup founders figure out the maze through direct experience, often at work. The key here is to put yourself in interesting mazes and give yourself time to figure it out. The metaphor of a maze also helps you think about competition. Competition from other startups is usually just a distraction. In all likelihood, they won't take the same path, and the presence of others in your maze means you might be onto something. Your real competition and what you should worry about is the years you could waste going down the wrong path. The years you could waste going down the wrong path. The years you could waste going down the wrong path. Wow, beautiful. And this is very interesting. Like, since we are learning about his hits from 2009, from 2010, we should now read about what are maybe his scattered thoughts about what's happening now. But there is no recent blog. I am surprised. I wrote a book. I believe blockchains and the software movement around them, typically called crypto or Web3, provide the only plausible path to sustaining the original vision of the internet as an open platform that incentivizes creativity and entrepreneurship. I've been investing behind this thesis for years and advocating for it through writing and speaking and by talking to business leaders, journalists, and policymakers both here and around the world. Through all that, it became clear that we need a comprehensive book that clearly explains new technologies like blockchains. Yeah, it's pretty good because you can literally hand this book, like, if Chris Dixon is working with someone new who has never been introduced to Web3, who doesn't have a deep understanding but who is interested, you can just be like, hey, here's the book. You know everything now. And that's a really good way to bring someone onto the scene. Really cool. It became clear that we need a comprehensive book that clearly explains new technologies like blockchains and the services built on top of them, how they fit into the history of the internet, and why they should matter to founders, developers, creators, and anyone interested in the history and evolution of business, technology, and innovation. So I wrote the book, Read, Write, Own, Building the Next Era of Internet. My thesis is that seemingly small initial decisions around software and network design can have profound downstream consequences on the control and economics of digital services. The book walks through the history of the internet, showing how it has gone through three major design eras. The first focus on democratizing information, the second on democratizing publishing, and the third on democratizing ownership. We are on the cusp of the third era, own. So explain the key concepts underlying it, including blockchains and digital services built on top of blockchains. The book therefore answers a common question I hear. What problems do blockchains solve? Blockchains solve the same problems that other digital services solve, but with better outcomes. They can connect people in social networks while empowering users over corporate interests. They can underpin marketplaces and payment systems that facilitate commerce, but with persistently lower take rates. They can enable new forms of monetizable media, interoperable and immersive digital worlds, and artificial intelligence services that compensate rather than cannibalize creators and communities. The book takes controversial questions head on, including policy and regulatory topics and the harmful casino culture that has developed around crypto that hurts public perception and undermines its potential. And I go deeper into intersecting topics like artificial intelligence, social networks, finance, media, businesses, collaborative creation, video games, and virtual worlds. Inspired by modern tech classics like Zero to One, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. I wrote the book to be succinct, thorough, and accessible. I also distill cutting edge thinking from technologists and founders to make it useful to practitioners. My goal was to make it accessible without watering it down. The book is meant for a range of audiences, including entrepreneurs, technologists, company leaders, policymakers, journalists, business thinkers, artists, community builders, and people who are simply curious about new technologies, culture, and the future of internet. I love reading books but believe that tech and business topics usually work better in shorter formats, which is why in the past I've stuck to blogging and tweeting. But accomplishing all of the above warranted a longer treatment, bringing new and different ideas together in one place. So I spent much of the last year doing this. Many of the ideas I've thought about for a long time but never took the time to write. Hmm. So he's basically saying that just read the book. Okay, let's see what the last page is about. This is crazy. There are so many references over here. So many references. Acknowledgement. This book is a product of many years of blogging, thinking, writing, and participating in the internet industry and crypto community. So there are countless inspiration behind the ideas presented here. I'm especially grateful to the colleagues and founders I've worked with. The best part of my job is talking to and learning from you. I would also like to acknowledge some specific people who helped shape the book and make it possible. First and foremost, I want to thank Robert Hackett, who was an extremely valuable editing and thought partner throughout the writing process. He contributed so much time, attention, and care to the project. He also taught me how to be a better writer. Thanks to Kim and Sonal, my longtime partners in all things creative, who nurtured the project from the start and guided me through the publishing process. Thank you to my agent Chris and my editor Ben and the broader Random House team, including Greg, Wendy, who made publishing this book far easier than I thought it could be. I'm also grateful to Rodrigo and Anna, who created the cover art and interior graphics. There are many people who reviewed the book and gave insightful comments in various phases, but I especially want to thank Tim, Sepp, Miles Jennings, Elena, Ariana Simpson, Porter, Bill, Ali, Brian, Andy Hall, Colin, Tim Sullivan, Eddie Lazarin, and Scott Comivers for the detailed feedback. Thanks also to Darren for data sourcing and analysis, Michael Blau for his NFT design, and Maura Fox for research and fact checking. I would also like to thank Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz for being great business partners and providing unwavering support for all my various endeavors over the years. I dedicated this book to Elena, my wife and best friend, who has always stood by me and believed in me. I'm so thankful for your patience and support while I worked on this book day and night and countless weekends and holidays. It takes a remarkable, confident person who allows space for that while also pursuing her own passions and interests. I'm so grateful to you and thankful for meeting you all those years ago in NYC. You were my partner in everything, and this book is as much yours as it is mine. Finally, this book is for my son. You are the future. Whoa, 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 whoa. I got tears in my eyes. Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Finally, this book is for my son. You are the future. I hope it shines bright for you. Wow. Beautiful. Okay. Conclusion. Let's read the conclusion. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men and women to gather wood, divide the work, and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men and women together would divide the work and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. In one version of the future, networks are owned by a handful of companies that stifle innovation, while users, developers, creators, and entrepreneurs compete for leftovers. The internet becomes another mass medium favoring content and experiences that are broad and shallow. Users become no better than serfs, toiling in the fields for the benefit of a corporate overlord. This is neither the internet I want to see nor the world I wish to live in. The issue goes beyond the future of the internet, which sounds tame and esoteric. The future of the internet is us, you and me. The internet is increasingly where we live our lives, and it overlaps more and more with the so called real world. Think about how much of your life you live online, how much of your identity resides there, how much you interact with friends whom you have developed relationships with through the medium of the internet. Whom do you want in control of the world? Reinventing the internet. The way to set the internet back on course is by creating new networks with better architecture. There are only two known network architectures that preserve the democratic and egalitarian spirit of the early internet, protocol networks and blockchain networks. If new protocol networks could succeed, I would be the first to support them. But after decades of disappointment, I am skeptical. Email and the web developed at a time when there wasn't serious competition from corporate networks. Since then, protocol networks haven't been able to compete because of their core architectural limitations. Blockchain are the only credible known architecture for building networks with the societal benefits of protocol networks and the competitive advantages of corporate networks. Google's motto was once don't be evil. In corporate networks, you need to trust company management to behave. This works for a while when networks are growing, but it inevitably breaks down. Blockchains offer much stronger assurance, can be evil. The rules are baked into immutable code. Developers and creators get low take rates and predictable incentives. Users get transparent rules and participation in the governance and financial upside of networks. In this way, blockchain networks extend the best features of protocol networks. At the same time, blockchain networks adopt the best aspects of corporate networks. They can attract and accrue capital to invest in hiring and growth, allowing them to compete on a level playing field with well financed internet companies. They also enable the development of software experiences that match what users have come to expect from modern internet services. With blockchains, it's possible to build social networks, video games, marketplaces, and financial services, as covered in Part 5, as well as whatever else entrepreneurs dream up next. Hmm. If the next wave of networks adopt blockchain architecture, the world can reverse the trend toward internet consolidation and restore communities, rather than a handful of companies to their rightful place as steward of the future. I'm optimistic about this, and I hope that after everything I've shared, that you are too. Cause for optimism. What gives me hope is that the technology is working. It's attracting users, and it's getting better all the time. Multiple compounding feedback loops and driving the growth of blockchain networks, and another computing cycle appears to be underway. The platform app feedback loop. The infrastructure is good enough now to support internet scale apps. The growth of apps feeds back into investment in infrastructure. The same compounding feedback loop that drove PCs, the internet, and mobile is now driving blockchains, the inherent network effect of social technologies. Blockchain networks are massively multiplayer social technologies just as protocol and corporate networks were before them. They become more useful as they attract more users, creators, and developers. Okay. I have presented what I think are some of the best ideas for developing blockchain networks today, but entrepreneurs are better at building the future than people like me are at predicting it. Most likely, the best ideas either seem strange today or are yet unimagined. If you are used to participating in blockchain networks, you are used to people looking at you funny or thinking what you do is silly or a scam. Often there are names for what you are working on. Inside out technologies arrive nicely packaged, ready for the market. Outside in technologies arrive messy, mysterious, disguised as something else. Grasping their potential takes work. Blockchains are at the computing frontier. As PCs were in the 80s, the internet was in the 90s, and mobile phones were in 2010s. People look back today on classic moments in computing and wonder what it was like to be here. Noise and more, Jobs and Wozniak, Page and Brin, hobbyists dabbling, debating, driving forward, tinkerers hacking away on nights and weekends. What seems late is actually early. Now is the time to reimagine what networks can be and what they can do. Software is an unbeatable playground for ingenuity. You don't have to accept the internet as you found it. You can make something better. As a builder, as a creator, as a user, and most important, as an owner. You are here now. Whoa. These are the good old days. Wow. Wait, this is really cool. This is really cool how he ended the book. You are here now. These are the good old days. Hey, it's really cool. Really cool. Civic life thrives through a balance of private and community ownership. The public sidewalk allows passers-by to discover new restaurants, bookstores, and shops. A homeowner spends weekends remodeling, in turn, improving a neighborhood. A world without both private and community ownership is a world that stifles creativity and human flourishing. Hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting. You are here now. These are the good old days. These are the good old days. Okay, let's go to Twitter. Let's see what do we have. Do we have something? A new write-up. Legend Labs. I'm excited to announce that we are leading the 15 million seed round in Join Legend to simplify DeFi and help bring the next 100 million users on chain. Our 2024 State of Crypto report estimated that there are now 30 to 60 million monthly active crypto users. While DeFi activity has grown, it has also become more complex and remains too complicated for many people to use. We view Legend as a compass, pointing the way to a simpler user experience and broader adoption for DeFi. The first product is an embedded smart contract wallet that allows users to borrow, lend, or swap across chains without manual wallet connections or the risk of interacting with malicious websites. Since coming out of stealth last October, they have received more than 400,000 signups. Jason, Jeffrey, and Michael all work together at DeFi pioneer Compound Finance. Okay. Jason, Jeffrey, previously founder of Compound Finance. Okay. Interesting. Jeffrey was one of the inventors of the Compound Protocol and a co-founder of Compound Labs. Michael and Jason worked together on product and design at Compound Labs before Jason took the reins as CEO. Compound introduced the model for how much of DeFi still works today. It was one of the first protocols to truly decentralize, establish yield farming, and help define the role of governance tokens through their Governor Alpha and Governor Bravo frameworks. With a user-facing product expertise and empathy for DeFi developers, these are a perfect team to address the user experience challenges that's still hindering DeFi adoption. It would be cool if they mention like what is the current status of Compound Finance, like, and why are they leaving Compound Finance. Excited to see what you all build. I think Compound Finance, the founder was Robert Leshner. Big congrats, Nick, head of GTM Paradigm. Jason. All right, let's see. Legend.xyz. Mm, finance without the middleman. So beautiful interface. Do more with your digital assets. The self-custody platform that brings the best of DeFi directly to you. For decades, financial institutions have mishandled your assets. It's time to take control. With Legend, your digital assets don't sit idle. Trade, borrow, and earn with ease. No middleman, no problems. Put your assets to work 24/7 from your phone. Your assets, your control. Welcome to the future of finance. Watch the trailer. Best of Ethereum all in one place. Aave, Cross Compound, Morpho, Uniswap, 0x. Okay, clean interface, very clean. Borrowing at 2.92% APR. Start earning in few taps. Earn interest on your digital assets with access to market leading yields powered by your favorite DeFi protocols. Trade anytime, anywhere. Skip the credit check. Tap your eligible collateral on demand to increase your buying power. Refinance existing debt or fund real world purchases. Never connect to wallet again. Manage your risk with isolated positions. Use your assets anywhere. Set it and forget it with recurring orders, cash in, cash out. Secure by design. Passkey based signing, biometric authentication, hardware wallet support. Okay, pretty cool, pretty cool. Very simple design that DeFi definitely needs. So beautiful, beautiful. Making the US the crypto capital what it would take. The US seems to be turning its combative stance on blockchain and crypto toward a more supportive one that offers guidance and clarity on the rules for builders to follow. This is again very interesting. Like, who are going to be the people who will advise the US government on crypto? People who have spent the most time on it, people that everybody respects, people that have the results, which is A16Z crypto. Making the US the crypto capital what it would take, where decentralization matters and needs incentives. A new digital age at the SEC. Let staking flourish in the US. End the era of mass financial surveillance. While the Department of Justice's action against DeFi are a wreck, anyone can get debanked. DeFi is a critical safety net. Why we need decentralized stable coins. It's time to bring assets on chain, rethinking SEC rulemaking, why crypto needs its own rules, how the US can benefit from effective crypto tax policy. Should the US implement a Bitcoin strategic reserve? Interesting. Still building. A year ago, read, write, own. Thank you for laying forth the vision we are all working towards. Still building. A year ago, Read Write Own was released. So much has happened in crypto since then. The past year, I spent a lot of time traveling and speaking at events, some crypto focused, some not. Even as crypto faced regulatory uncertainty in Washington and sustained criticism from mainstream media, I kept hearing something different from the people I met: passion and optimism. There are there was a clear there was a clear gap between the narrative out there and what I was seeing on the ground. So while I'm excited to see the tides turn with growing bipartisan and institution support, I'm not entirely surprised. Crypto was never going away. At some point, the value of what blockchains enable, stablecoins, DeFi, AI systems, games, social experiences, and more, had to be recognized. We are still far from the full vision I describe in Read Write Own, but we are moving forward. Huge thanks to all the founders, builders, and supporters who tuned out the noise and kept building forward. This is really cool. Read Write Own by Chris Dixon and Network State by Balaji. It's a really good example of what's happening over here, where these people who have a lot of experience, these two people who have a lot of experience, who have a certain vision, write about something in a it, write about something. And usually when you think about books are more like either they are self-help, either they are like a biography, something like that. But are these are not books. These are more like playbook. It's more like a manual of, hey, I'm gonna hand this manual to everybody and now read it. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like They see a vision, they have they wrote down this entire vision in this manual. Now they're selling this vision to everybody. Everybody's reading that, and because it takes like hours, it would take at least like 12 hours to read this one book. You are now downloading all this programming into your brain, and now you just adopt that vision. So it's more like manuals to hand out to people to start building towards that vision, to join the vision. And with Network State, that's exactly what's happening. With Network State, Balaji wrote it, which actually brought a lot of companies into alignment, that they now could see themselves falling into this umbrella of network state. Companies that would not actually talk to each other, like a company that would be like a startup that is focused on building a modular architecture startup, that you can build a two-story building, and then tomorrow if the demand increases you can increase the number of stories. So you are built this is a modular architecture startup. And then there is something like a crypto community based game. Now they both know exactly the umbrella that they both fit in, that the modular architecture is for living, this crypto community is for what people will actually do while they're living over there. So Network State also kind of gave every startup an umbrella of how do they see themselves fit into this vision and then work towards it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. They have given a manual, they've handed out a manual. People have downloaded this vision in their mind and now they're building towards it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Really cool. Why everyone in tech needs to be interested in tech policy, why AI won't cause unemployment. Okay, we will have another mark and recent session where we can maybe cover this. So let's bookmark it. Okay. Executive order. What is this? The long term future of the US crypto industry will likely require Congress to provide a comprehensive fit for purpose regulatory framework. Until that framework is in place, however, the steps outlined here serve as a way toward appropriate regulation. Investing in seismic. In a typical business, trusted intermediaries are able to aggregate and utilize data for their users without revealing the particulars of any individual. Hmm. Consider, for example, an insurance company. In order to properly price a given policy, the insurer must compute aggregated risk metrics over a wide range of data from existing policyholders, such as age, medical history, or driving records, while keeping each individual file private. In many industries, such as in healthcare or financial services, this level of privacy is mandated by law. Now, consider building that same insurance business on a blockchain to access the growing population of customers moving on chain. On today's major L bonds, information that is made available to a smart contract becomes publicly visible by default, so you can protect an individual's personal information. This has been a critical barrier to blockchain adoption and in massive markets such as financial services, healthcare, logistics, social networks, and identity management. We have led investment in Seismic, which offers a new approach by restructuring the modern blockchain stack around secure hardware. Seismic has created blockchains that encrypt at the protocol level rather than at the wallet level. It is live in DevNet and already enabling prototype applications featuring novel mechanism design. For example, Level lets you trade assets based on belief rather than price. Wow. Wow. Beautiful website. Look at this. Seismic. Let's go. Seismic is the encrypted blockchain. Developer docs, DM founder. Alright, that's DM founder. I promise I'm not an investor, researcher, or a bot. I promise I'm a developer community member. I promise. I promise. I promise I'm a community member. I promise I'm a community member and I love your website. Okay, so we just DM the founder. That was good. Blog builder TG. Work with us directly. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Okay. Beautiful website. Seismic. Yeah, when you say seismic, I'm expecting like an earthquake kind of thing. Jason Rosenthal. Investing in story. Investing in story. Is that story protocol? Ariana Simpson. Okay. Investing in Eigenlayer. Oh, this is way back. Investing in story last year. Okay. State of crypto report. Yes. 7 key takeaways. 2024. When was this out? This was out on 10/16. How big is crypto today? Crypto has become a key political issue. Infrastructure is maturing. Key applications are emerging. What we know about crypto builders. What's next for crypto? Monthly active addresses hit an all-time high of 220 million, with growth reminiscent of early internet adoption. Addresses are proliferating across many blockchains, with Base and Solana as the most active. Base 22 million, Solana 100 million. Whoa. Non-EVM chains. Tron, Bitcoin, Dawn, Sui, Aptos, BNB, Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, OP Mainnet, Celo, Linea, Scroll, zkSync, Phantom, Avalanche, Zora, Blast. Mobile wallet. Do we have some interesting names over here? We do. Okay. I'll just quickly write what we would love to research next. Celo, Linea, Scroll, zkSync, Zora, yeah, we're gonna talk about Zora next. We did Aptos, Tron, Bitcoin, Base, Solana. We will do Solana. Okay. Mobile wallet use hit record highs driven by growth in countries such as Nigeria, India, and Argentina. Okay. We estimate that only 5 to 10% of crypto owners are active users. There's a big opportunity to re-engage passive holders on chain. 617 estimated global crypto owners, 30 to 60 estimated monthly active users, 27 monthly mobile wallet users. And the sources are Sensor Tower, Artemis, and Dune. Okay, crypto has become a key political issue. We'll partner together to invest. Oh, can we zoom this? Yes, we can zoom it. We'll partner together to invest in America's competitiveness, to invest in America's future. We will encourage innovative technologies like AI and digital assets while protecting consumers and investors. Okay, so everybody is in. Crypto interest is rising in several swing states, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. See top 5 biggest jumps. California. What happened to California? That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay. 40 plus million Americans own crypto. They are young, bipartisan, and supportive of pro crypto candidates. The EU and UK lead when it comes to public engagement on crypto policy and regulation. By topic, market structure and rules, stablecoins, illicit finance, DeFi tax, energy and climate. Okay. Crypto industry is on a path toward more regulatory clarity after some major policy wins. The SEC's Bitcoin Ethereum ETP approvals have broadened investor access to crypto. The US dollar faces competition from foreign sovereign digital currencies. Stablecoins can strengthen the US dollar's position as its Global reserve currency status slips. Stablecoins are only a decade old. Now they are a top 10, a top 20, and rising holder of US debt. In countries with rampant inflation, people turn to stablecoins to protect their assets. In countries with rampant inflation, people turn to stablecoins to protect their assets. As finance and tech consolidate power in big banks and big tech, there's a growing need for decentralization. Makes sense? By assets, Chase Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, US Bank infrastructure is maturing. Crypto is multi chain with value flowing between increasingly interoperable blockchains. Ethereum, Arbitrum, Base, Zk Zinc, Polygon, Sui. Sui? Is that Sui? OP, Solana, Avalanche, BNB, Near, Aptos, Celo. A significant portion of Ethereum activity is moving to L2, drastically reducing costs for users. Ethereum scaling efforts have slashed on-chain transaction cost by over 99%. Yes. Big win. Cost to send US dollars internationally. $44 via international wire transfer, $12 via USDC on Ethereum. Okay. Gas price. Oh, USDC on Ethereum. USDC on Ethereum in 2024. Okay. Okay. And 0.01 USDC on base L2. Let's go. Why international wire transfer. Really cool. You just need to work on your graphics. Let's make the graphics beautiful. This is ugly. While Ethereum is committed to the reason I say that is because this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Why is this ugly? While Ethereum is committed to L2 scaling, other high throughput blockchains are gaining traction. Near Dawn, Aptos, Sui, Solana. Okay. Wait, Solana is the massive one, and next is Sui. Okay. Blockchains now process 50 times as many transactions per second as they did just 4 years ago. Account abstraction is key to unlocking better user experiences with crypto. Okay. Zero knowledge proofs may be the endgame for blockchain privacy, scaling, and interoperability. Today, there are more than 250 crypto projects actively working to advance ZK technology. Herodotus, Axiom, Lagrange, Risk Zero, Succinct. ZK proofs can unlock a new programming paradigm for blockchains. ZK coprocessors allow complex computations to be run off-chain, giving smart contract developers access to cheap verifiable compute. Zero-knowledge virtual machines are improving, but there is still a long way to go. The share of ETH being staked, key applications. Stablecoins is massive. Stablecoins have found product market fit. Let's go. PayPal, Visa, ACH, Fedwire, transaction volume, dollar, number of transactions. Stablecoins is the biggest one. That's crazy. Number of transactions 1.1 billion, but transaction volume is 8.5 TN. Is that trillion? 8.5 trillion? Wow. Stablecoin activity has grown despite crypto market cyclicality, highlighting their adoption beyond trading. AI training costs are growing exponentially, a trend that we believe favors power centralization in the biggest tech companies, right? Who wrote that? David wrote that from Variant Fund. Blockchains can address some of the most pressing challenges facing the AI industry. There is heavy overlap between crypto and AI users. NFT activity appears to have shifted from high volume secondary markets to low cost social collecting experiences. Today's regulatory environment has enabled speculative meme coins to proliferate. Thousands of DeFi protocols now control billions of dollars, and leaders are emerging. Thousands of DeFi protocols: Lido, Aave, Uniswap, Eigen, EtherFi, MakerDAO, Jupiter. Crypto trading is increasingly happening on decentralized exchanges. Increased attention to DeFi cybersecurity measures. Prediction markets skyrocketing, especially around elections. DAO treasuries have billions of dollars of liquid tokens that can fuel network improvements. Wow, Demo. We checked out Demo, what Demo was doing yesterday. Daylight. I actually have been hearing about Daylight, but I don't know what they do. Nosh. Restaurants in northern Colorado. Okay. Nosh delivery. Helium. Yes, helium is great. Helium is like the helium is like the ground Starlink. Helium is like the ground alternative or ground breakthrough. I mean, Starlink is the breakthrough in space, and helium is the breakthrough on ground. It's crazy. I love I I really hope that helium becomes successful and they do good. Games. Longest source of innovation in software are pushing blockchain scaling to its limits. Early days of decentralized social networks, but vibrant developer ecosystems are emerging around protocols like Farcaster. Whoa, there are names. There's just names over here. Clients Journal, Warpcast, Supercast, Flids, Nonspace, Yup, FarQuest, Lightcast, HeroCast, Specialized. Whoa. Tools, Services, Nanar, Repos, Analytics and Data, Frames, Community. Whoa, Yush's Directory, Purple, Farcon, Bots, Launch Pearl, Alert, Survey Paragraph, Bounty Bot, Translate Ballot, Events Indexer, Tools, Sharecaster, Searchcaster, Fardrop, Hatecast, Farcaster.vote, Composecast. What we know about crypto's builders. Diversity blockchains are attracting builders including Ethereum and its adjacent L2 networks, plus Solana, Bitcoin, and others. DeFi blockchain infrastructure and DeepIn are some of the hottest categories in 24 for builder activity. Builders show increasing interest in AI in 24, commonly used by infra, DeFi, DeepIn, and Pix and Shovel projects. Pix and Shovel. Crypto is international with builders spread across the US, Asia, and Europe. Canada 5.4, SF11, so NY, New York has more than SF. LA 5.4, US Other, Miami 1.7, LATAM. Who beats New York? Asia Other, nobody beats New York. So New York is the capital. Top 5 change: New York, US Other, SF, LA, Canada. Oh, Canada. Explore the Builder Energy dashboard. What's next for crypto? Are we entering a new wave of the crypto price innovation cycle or a fall start? We are slide 6. Okay, last one. Let's go. Some of other thoughts. Nation states will seek to quickly develop a crypto strategy. We expect key legislation to pass, drastically reduce fees for users, accessible to institutional investors, significant development at the intersection of these technologies. Stablecoins are emerging as the crypto's first killer app. Early experiments are gaining traction. Beautiful. Okay, that's the stream. Great.